Alright y'all, it is day number 11. It's about 6:15. Yep, still in the tent. Cold as hell outside. Temperature gauge is reading 20 with some wind chill, so it's cold. Just enjoying some coffee. Just ate some oatmeal. Had 2 Pop-Tarts. Gonna start packing up now and start pushing north. It's gonna be a great day. I read everybody's comments up to this point. Try to reply to some tonight or last night, and I'll try to get to more today. Appreciate all of y'all's support and y'all following along. That's about it. Start pushing north. Alright y'all, it is still Sunday, February 26th. 11th day on the trail. I just left the shelter about 20 minutes ago, hiking up a hill. Stopping to put some Aquamara in both of my water bottles this morning. A couple lessons learned, maybe y'all can pull from it. Normally before I go to bed, I'll fill up both of my water bottles, and then I'll fill up my 2-liter Evernew bag. Man, this again 11th night on the trail last night, and it hadn't really gotten too far below freezing. Last night it did, man. It was in the low 20s without the wind chill. So obviously that Evernew bag froze. So lesson learned on this dude's part. So all morning I was working to get that thing thawed out, so I didn't have to carry a 4-pound ice block around with me. So I just put that in my quilt with me as I was eating breakfast and whatnot, and every time it would thaw a little bit, I'd pour that into my empty smart water bottles that I had used for cooking that morning. However, I've had dirty water in there in that Evernew bag, so now I'm just stopping, putting some Aquamara in both bottles, letting that work for about 15-20 minutes, and then that should clean the bottles out and make sure the water's good. The water source at that shelter is perfect. I don't have any concerns with that, but anytime you transfer water out of that dirty water bag, there's no telling if it has anything left over from previous usages, so just better safe than sorry. That's why I like Aquamara a little bit as well, just carrying a little bit, because I only have just enough to treat, again, maybe 10 or 15 liters total. It's not only going to treat the water, but it's going to clean out your inside of your bottle and kill everything in there too. So anyway, just a tip, use it or lose it. I'm trying to decide if I had to do it over coming through Georgia and this first part of North Carolina, would Aquamara be better, or a Sawyer squeeze? You can't lose the squeeze, but again, last night if somebody forgets to put it, like I put it in my breast pocket as I sleep to keep it from freezing. Right now it's in my side pocket of my pants to keep it from freezing. You mess up and it freezes, like it's done, what's your go-to plan then? I'm not saying carry extra weight, I'm just saying you better have a go-to plan. But the good thing is most of those water sources through Georgia and through North Carolina thus far, barring a couple, I would have no problem drinking straight off the source, and I have plenty of times since I left. So anyway, long little segment, but hopefully that'll help some people about to start. Alright, out. Alright y'all, it's the summit of Chioa Bald. And we're back up over 5,000. And man, I tell you, if you're coming through and you got enough energy to go past that shelter, fill up on water, and then come up that remaining hill, there's a incredible campsite here. Last night, not sure you could have survived with the wind and the cold, but this is amazing. That's your view. Good heavens. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the camera off and just sit here for a second. This is, again, speechless. So I'm walking downhill. I talked about the NOC a little bit yesterday. For those of you coming in the spring, coming through there, it might be a good natural pause to take a 0 day or at least a Nero. It's really pretty cool, and if you can wind up there on a Saturday or Sunday, even better. Man, there's a beer garden right by the river. They were having kayak races yesterday. Just very cool atmosphere. Just isn't on my agenda, but so keep that in mind, and then know the next day if you're gonna tie it on, you're gonna suffer immeasurably for about 7 miles. And then if you keep going past the shelter like I did once I got past shelter today, it's another tough climb, so you might not want to overdo it if you stay at the knock. Second thing I was thinking about coming down the hill, I've had my poles, at least one of them stuck in between some roots or a rock on the way down, and then I just had to let it go. One time I pulled my hand out of the strap because I had it in there still, and then the pole fell over and almost started tumbling down the giant ravine that you're walking beside for, heck, I don't know, 20-30% of the trail. So think through that. Might be worth, I'm not going to say have it dummy corded to you. That means have a string tied to it and tied to you in case you do drop it. But you just got to be really cautious. And even with your cell phone, I'm very cautious. Like right now, if I tripped and fell, my phone's going to go tumbling down about 20 feet and I'm going to have to go get it. So keep that in mind if you plan on filming or just using your phone and it's in your pocket or whatnot. All right, moving on. Thinking and laughing to myself after reading y'all's comments. So one of the comments I read from yesterday was, hey, I heard your rucksack squeaking a little bit as you were walking. Does that bug you? I was like, honestly, man, I haven't even noticed it. It makes a lot less noise than the issued ones we got years ago in the military. But now I do hear it, so I appreciate that. So it probably will drive me crazy today. And then MC, and I already got to her, commented back to her in the comments said, hey, it looks like you've had great weather. And then the day I read that, it gets cold and I have a 4-pound block of ice sitting in my Evernew bottle. So thanks for that. It's funny. I guess I can handle what the trail throws at me and what y'all jinx me with, so keep it up. Just know I'm coming at you. If you're ever out here, I'm going to start jinxing. Jinx. Alright. Alright, y'all. Still on a downhill. Thinking a couple more things. Y'all can use or lose. Resupply boxes. And the coordination with your spouse or your friend or whoever sending them. I screwed up communication with my wife, and it's on me. It ain't on her. She's the one back there dealing with everything else while my ass is sitting here getting to walk north on the Appalachian Trail. She's gonna send me my Merrill ventilators, because man, it's just been so warm. These Gore-Tex, I love them, but I think the ventilators would have been better over the last 11 days. So I already had them in a box. She was just gonna send them. And then I told her I was going into Franklin. I was going to go to the outfitter and possibly look and see if I can buy them there. And that's the last she heard. I never said whether I did or didn't, which is my bad. And they didn't have the shoes I wanted there. So bottom line is I didn't get any shoes in Franklin, and she just sent my boxes out 2 days ago to meet me at Fontana. And the shoes aren't there because she thought I was going to buy some. So again, over communicate, because in the end it's on you, the person walking the trail. You're the one who, when you get to Fontana, there's very few places, or you don't have the ability to go purchase a lot of outfitter stuff before your days in the Smokies. Might not be a big deal for many people, and it really ain't for me. In fact, I think it's going to do me a favor, because it's going to rain Tuesday and Wednesday, which possibly means snow up at those higher elevations. I'd much rather have these boots anyway. And I'll just get them at the other side of the Smokies. So that's one, over communicate with the person sending your supplies. Two, if you're packing all your food boxes now and sending them out, I'll just caution you, and I know other people have said this before too, you're not going to want the same things that you bought. The food that I packed up that my wife sent me, I'm going to use for the Smokies, but I don't want half of it. Nah, it's just what sounds good to you at home when you're well fed ain't necessarily the same things you're going to want out here. I'll eat it. I'll be thankful for it, be grateful for it. But if I had to buy it right now, I wouldn't have bought the same stuff. So keep that in mind. Don't plan a whole through hike of food, because your tastes are going to change rapidly. And the needs of your body are going to change too. I am at Sassafras Gap. I am 1.9 miles to Stecoa, it says, if you can't read it. And I'm staring at heaven. Freaking amazing. I can never say the word amazing again on this trip. Who wants to take bets on that? Yep. Got some picnic tables right here. I'm gonna go ahead, and it's only 10:43, but I'm gonna go ahead and eat my lunch while I have some comforts and get back on the trail. It's gorgeous behind me. This is a gorgeous gap. I think there's a hostel right down the road somewhere, if I remember correctly. Anyway, you should check it out, because if you start at the knock and you're pretty fresh, you can probably make it here in one day. It's gonna hurt you, but you can probably do it. So check that out. I forgot to mention that I slept like, well, let's just say I didn't sleep a whole lot last night. It got cold, but the problem with sleep wasn't necessarily cold. A 20-degree quilt was awesome. No issues, but there aren't any good camp spots there, and it was too late, and anything higher up would have been in that monsoon force wind. So I found a kind of flat place and just was sliding down all night long. If you got a Z-Pax duplex, or most tents are the same way with a slick bottom, you put your slick pad on there. If you're not at least semi-level, that joker is going to slide around like a ice skating rink. So anyway, looking for a flat spot tonight if I'm tenting. If I'm tenting it and try to get some sleep. I feel really good though. This place is full of energy. It really is. And if you ever start running out, just come up, even one that's covered with moss, touch it for a second, remind yourself of where you're at and why you're here, and you'll feel it, I promise. It's like a shot of adrenaline. Here we go. Hey y'all, I was thinking about Spielberg's Thru-Hike last year, for those of y'all who watched that, which I thought he did an incredible job. That was a fun one to watch. There was some drama that was going on at Jacob's Ladder one day, and you might remember without going back and looking, but I just don't want to waste my portable battery power to sit there and dig through the videos. But what was going on that day? I don't think he had spent a night out in the woods by himself at that point. He'd gotten wet from sweat or something, and he was staring at Jacob's Ladder, and he was telling us that he panicked for a second. I can't remember what he did or what the situation was, so if somebody could put those in the comments, because I'm approaching Jacob's Ladder now. Sounds ominous. Anytime somebody names something, probably gonna get your butt kicked pretty good. So here we go, coming up on it soon. Make sure you fuel up down at Stecoa Gap. That's a good climb. That'll kick that ass. So make sure you're ready for it. If you're using any kind of energy gels or goos or whatever, take one at the bottom. Won't be a problem. Good mindset. Just keep pressing north. Stecoa Gap. I don't care what time of year it is. Shields down. Shields down. You're gonna need some maximum cooling effect. And you know it's a good climb when you have to unbunch all your underwear legs that have already creeped all the way up to your thighs. I'm sorry, to your upper thighs, to your hip bone, because the climb was so steep. So you know that's a good workout. Where else but the Appalachian Trail can you sit here and eat chocolate covered peanuts and raisins and Skittles and feel good about it. It is 12:51, day 11. First look at Fontana Lake down there. Simply gorgeous. Alright y'all, something else just popped into my mind, and probably, well, no, I think this is about the right time to cover it. Because I know a lot of you are getting ready to kick off and the bubble's about to start building. This may help people starting in a couple of weeks, or April more than guys starting in a couple of days, but anything's better than nothing. So let's talk about adaptation. So after 11 days, I'll give you what I know about adaptation on the Appalachian Trail, because that's what's relevant here. So when you get out here and you step off, your body and your mind have a whole new environment to adapt to. Even if you've come out and done a few section hikes, you're a little more prepared. But I will beg to argue that it's still going to be difficult. So adaptation. Man, how's your stomach going to react eating the stuff that you need to eat to fuel yourself? If you haven't ate ramen and chicken, or ramen and tuna, or whatever you're going to be eating every day, and you go into this cold turkey, you may have some digestive issues. So you're going to have to maybe suffer through that a little bit while the adaptation takes hold. Your feet. Hopefully you've been walking in the shoes that you're going to be wearing. Me, I had over 100 miles in these shoes that I'm wearing. Still got a few blisters. Did everything that I've always done. I'm just prone to them. But after 100 and almost 60 miles now, my feet are finally adapting to the environment and to the shoes they're in. And I promise you, even the best broken in shoes aren't going to prevent problems with the terrain you're going to be going up and down. Keep that in mind. Blisters aren't that bad, but you better understand how to treat them. I just learned a new technique before I stepped out here. If you thread the needle that you're going to pop your blister with some thread, and go ahead and run that thread through the blister, and keep a piece of the thread hanging out on both ends, leave it that way, the blister won't keep filling back up. Whoever I stole that idea from, that was genius. I did it. It works. Trust me. Alright. If you haven't tried to walk hills or gotten in a gym, your calves and your feet are going to have to adapt. And that's a hard one. Because adapting usually means if you try to move too fast or go too far, or even if you don't, and you're just not ready, that's going to mean possible shin splints or plantar fasciitis. You can prevent a lot of that by being better prepared, or bringing out a recovery tool or so, like I have, to, work it out every night and try to stay ahead of it. Because once it's there, you're hurt. You're going to have to stop and recover once you have plantar fasciitis. Next, I'd say mentally. How do you mentally prepare? I wasn't kidding, or I was just kind of being facetious when I said get some clothes damp every night before you go to bed, put them in the refrigerator, and wake up and put those clothes on. You don't even have to wear them around long. Just make yourself put them on. Actually, go outside and then make yourself put them on. And then take them right back off. That's fine. But what you're doing is preparing your mind for the shock that's called the Appalachian Trail. Because without that, when you're having to adapt to all this new, all these new experiences, it's going to be overloading for many. And that is why many pull off at Nils Gap or at Dix Creek Gap. So anyway, just some tips. Adaptation is key. start thinking to yourself, what can I start doing now on a daily basis, both body and mind, to help me adapt faster to the environment I know I'm going to. Out. It's 408, 1608 for you military-minded folks. Just climbed a big old hill. Before you, which excites the crap out of me, is Fontana Lake and the dam. So cool when you've seen something so many times. I always dreamed about being there, and then you're standing on a mountain overlooking it. Just amazing. Damn it, I said it. If you took a bet against me, you'd have won for sure. Breathtaking view. Just thinking, some of you may be wondering, we're still about the lake, by the way. I just turned the camera off and then really just turned it right back on. Early riser, why is it 4 o'clock and you're still walking? And you started at 7:30. 8 hours are up, and I agree, they are. Got to Stecoa Gap shelter, and as you can imagine, since I'm still walking, it was full of people. Again, it's another one of those shelters that are only less than a mile away from the road, so it looked like people were getting ready to have a good time, and I don't want to interrupt it. I don't want them to interrupt my sleep with their good time. So the introvert heads north, pushing north. So the goal is to go, I think it's 2.7 more miles to go down to a gap, find a camp spot, and there's some water, 0.2 right past that. So fill up, bed down, get some good sleep, head into Fontana Village tomorrow morning, check into the lodge and get my boxes. And then all the rest of the day is focused on preparing for the Smokies. Like, I'll be honest with you, I don't really go into the places to sit around and relax. Man, I go in there and for me it's all business. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy it, but that's what I enjoy. That's how I have my good time, is to know that I'm prepared to step off in the Smokies. My wife talked to Standing Bear Hostel today. I think it's about 4 days into the Smokies, and they relayed there's a lot of snow up there, so I'm excited about that. Been lugging this freaking gear for about 160 something miles now. I'm good with some snow. It's better than rain any day. Alright, I'm rambling. Out. Finally made it to Wildcat Gap. This is where I'm going to bed down. There's some water down the trail. Little ways, 0.2 down the hill. I'm going to drop my rut real quick and run down there and carry the water. Make sure there is before I set up camp. That sign's going in the tree. Nature's amazing. There it is again, y'all. You voted against me. You done won twice. Why can I not let go of that word? Alright, y'all. I'm going to set up shop. In fact, I'm going to walk up that hill right there and see if there's any views. Maybe a better place up there. Anyway, alright, I'll do a final wrap up. End up day 11. Whoo, tired. Started at Sassafras Gap Shelter. It is the first shelter that you get to when you come out of the NOC. And it's a tough climb, so keep that in mind for those coming behind. And it was cold as hell last night. So lessons learned for me today that I gotta remember is gotta protect the water bag and don't let it turn into a 4-pound block of ice. Thank God that Evernew bag's so durable, because it lasted throughout the day. I had to wear it on the outside of my pack and let it melt. Anyway, let's not do that again. One of the things I just want to reiterate on is preparation and adaptation. Everybody knows when they come out here, and I would love for pass-through hikers to weigh in a little bit here, but you're going to go through a huge adaptation, and how big it is up to you. Mine has not been that much because I prepared pretty hard. I slept out in my tent and in my sleeping system when it's cold, and I read a lot of other people commenting that they do that same thing. Man, that's good. I freaking spent years knowing what suck is, meaning having to put on wet clothes in the jungle, or wet clothes or cold clothes in a cold weather environment. So that adaptation wasn't that hard for me. I had 100 miles on the shoes before I got out here. Still get blisters, man. I'm telling you, this terrain is tough. To replicate this at your house for 8 hours a day, man, I didn't do it. I hear some people going on 5-hour hikes and stuff on the weekends. Man, I never did. I tried to spend that time as much as I could anyway with my family or taking care of things at home so I could come do this. If you have the time, do it. It just makes sense. But 8 hours a day of walking up and down hills and mountains is going to take a toll on something, whether it's your shins, your calves, your bottom of your feet with plantar fasciitis. Anything you do now and bringing things to help you recover in the afternoons or after you get done hiking and before you start hiking is going to make all the difference in the world. Lastly, we'll talk about nutrition a little bit. What I've learned since I've been out here is, man, electrolytes are key. Maybe eating a little more salt than you're used to in your food. I need to get a salt shaker and bring it out here. I keep saying I'm going to in every town and I don't. I mean, I haven't yet, but I will. And I'm going to put it on things like my bagel with peanut butter and jelly. Man, I'm going to put salt on it. Because what happens is, man, you just start burning an enormous amount of calories and you start sweating and your body's robbed. It starts getting robbed of those electrolytes. And man, it brings you down fast. So that's something else I'm going to take. Head into the Fontana Lodge tomorrow. I'm excited about that. Get a knee row. I got about 4 miles in. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Get a couple of boxes and prepare to take the Smokies. Be a full attack into the hills. Alright, y'all. Hope everybody's doing well. I have no cell phone coverage here at where am I at? Walker Gap. So I'll try to get these videos posted tomorrow. Out. Can't tell you how much I enjoy this. Got my ramen with some tuna in it, cooked. That may sound gross to some people, but it's delicious. Got the tent set up. As soon as I get done eating, pretty cool shot with that sun over my shoulder, huh? As soon as I get done eating, I'm gonna roll my legs out, and get in the tent, make yesterday's movie and today's movie, and then watch an episode of The Wired. Downloaded off Amazon. Alright, man. It's amazing out here. Having a great time. Miss my family? Yep. This is a once in a lifetime chance. Loving it. Hope everybody's having a good Sunday. I know Monday's coming tomorrow, but look up.